Hey, what is up guys? So we got a pretty cool replay to share, and it's going to be using one new card, Jar of Avarice, and I'm going to be showing you guys how good this card can be in Star Seraph Shaddolls, especially if you play like Call of the Haunteds and Oasises. And it's also cool because my opponent is playing something that I didn't even know what the heck this thing was. Basically, it's a Intermage Empowered Warrior deck, and it looks like you can XYZ like crazy. Like, his deck, it looked like you can OTK super consistently because you can search for whatever thing you need, and that's insane, especially because Armageddonite plus Zephyros, and Armageddonite is in 3 in the TCG, especially with 3 Rotas too in this deck. Man, you have a really consistent deck. But anyways, he goes ahead and tries to make a Cyber Dragon Infinity. I effect Valor the Satellar Knight, and then he goes ahead and throws a diamond on top of it, and I'm like, dang, that's still kind of OP that you could just throw a diamond on top of that. But and then he goes Maxis immediately. Luckily, I had the BLS, so I'm able to basically get myself out of the situation. But it's going to really show you guys how insanely good Jar of Avarice can be. And, guys, Star Seraph Shaddolls, because I talked about how good the deck was, and I don't think I have really that many replays of it going off like this. He ends up trying to make this Utopia, this cheeky card over here, where he gets to make it so it has 5,000 attack. But watch this field, guys. I disrespect him a ton right here. I disrespect him so much, I don't even game him. I actually just do some really stupid stuff. It's just to show you guys how crazy you can go off in Star Seraph Shaddolls. I mean, I technically had a pretty big hand because Maxi allowed me to draw a bunch of cards, but over here, I'm able to throw that on top. It was actually Scepter's effect that's activating, and then he Yu-Gi-Oh! Sagi'd it. And it's just kind of I guess, I don't know if I want to say it's a glitch, but anyways, banish my own BLS, don't even need it, man. Jar of Avarice, you see, I already made a Cyber Dragon Infinity with the Star Seraphs, but I didn't use my normal summon, so I can reset that play because of Jar of Avarice, because I just had Phantom Spring of Dragon Souls. That card's OP too. Look at this. I even make a Dark Armed in here. I'm like, yo, Dark Arm, destroy Winda. When effect, add Shaddol. Okay, Bujin Amateratsu, go for Shaddol Squamata. I attack with this, and like, nah, bro, just discard my card for the extra disrespect. Actually, I think I ran out of time here. I was obviously, like, I obviously had game, and like, my field was just, it was amazing. I mean, did you guys see that field? It was Dark Arm, Construct, Infinity, like, that was almost an impenetrable field, and I had Maxi in my hand, and the field was just absolutely crazy, especially with, like, well, I think I BLS bans itself, I destroyed Winda, I literally just went through everything, and it really just shows you guys the power of it. And I know some of you guys wanted this profile. A lot of you guys were like, wow, this is amazing, let me get that deck profile. I'm kind of working on the deck, but I'll definitely share it with you guys right now because, like I said, a lot of players want to kind of mess with this, especially with that new Jar of Avarice, and kind of test out how good the card is. Alright, so this is what I consider just a rough build. I kind of wanted just I was just throwing in as many cards as possible to abuse the Star Seraphs. I don't think this is the most consistent way to build the deck, but I thought it was something fun, and you could definitely abuse the Star Seraphs if you happen to open up a Scepter. Now, a lot of players already play Call of the Haunted. Sometimes people are just doing triple call. Oasis can come in handy certain times you want things in defense mode, but I was like, max out on everything, just go super sacky as hard as possible, because the main goal of this was actually to test out Jar of Avarice. That was the main thing I wanted to mess around with, because Jar of Avarice is a new card, and it's got a little bit of hype going behind it right now, and I think it's definitely a good card for certain decks. I think the new Red Eyes deck, that can abuse this card more than anything, because one problem that the Red Eyes deck had was if you activated that Red Eyes Fusion spell card where you fusion from the deck. The only problem that I had with that card is if you go through like your Summon Skulls, sometimes you have multiple of those, and multiple of the fusion. Sometimes players only played one Summon Skull, but if you played 2 or something, like, you would use them, and then, or if you drew them, it would just become super minus. Now, what I was able to do was Jar of Avarice, and I can reset the fusion, plus I can reset the fusion monsters that I want in my deck. Yeah, I know I could draw them. That deck, I really hate drawing like the vanillas, but, you know, every deck has its downsides for the most part, except for Necros. That deck has no downsides. But yeah, this is just a fun deck. I guess we can go over the deck profile real quick. I think we need to optimize the extra deck. Obviously, in the TCG, you can't play this, not yet, and it does require 3 cards. It's a hefty investment, but I find this card just to be like too good not to play. I'm also messing around with Amateratsu. I like this card because it lets me get back the tuners. Obviously, we need to fix up the extra deck like I mentioned before. Originally, I was playing Synchros in here, and that is because I like Effect Valor just because it deals with the Necro matchup so much easier, because their goal is to Trish this card. because obviously Unicorn can't get over it. Even if it does negate the effect, it's still 28. Like, this card is kind of their problem card, so usually their answer is going to be Trishula. I mean, sometimes, yeah, they can flip it face down, they can do other things, but for the most part, I would say majority of the games that I've experienced, it usually ends up getting Trishula. That's how they try to combat this card. Or this card is also actually a very good card against them as well, but Valor just helps out, and I really do like Valor for that. Anyways, 1 BLS, 1 Dark Armed. I don't know why people don't like Dark Armed. Personally, for me, I can't take out Dark Armed. I have a huge love for this card, simply because one Sinister Shadow Games can be Sinister Shadow Games, you go Squamata into anything, and that's 2 cards right there. And then all you need is just 1 more. Now, I know the Shaddoll count is low, but I wanted to do 3 Valor, 3 Maxi, and then just go super fast. Like I said, it's probably a build that can be made much better, and that's why, you guys come in, tell me what you like, and, we can mess around with it. I also, well, most players that played the Star Seraphs, they just dropped Denko completely, because it conflicts with these cards, which I really like these cards a lot. Like, even if it's not for the Star Seraphs, just getting back certain cards, because these cards can be brought back. It's just so good. And remember, guys, you can still get back a Construct, and the Construct's effect can still actually trigger, which I think is super OP. If this card is special summoned, you can send 1 Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard, and that can trigger off of Call of the Haunted, and then when it goes away again, you get the effect. Like, it's just too much free effects. I love Shaddolls for, like, their amount of just consistency of just not dying, and then just like, no, you get rid of my card, getting at least 1 more plus off of it. But Econ can be another option, because sometimes you don't really necessarily need your normal, especially if you're playing the build like I'm playing. Like I said, we can make it more consistent probably. But anyways, going back to the deck profile, we've got 1 Beast, 2 Dragon, 2 Lizard, or Squamata, 3 and 3, so 3 Chair, 3 Scepter, 1 Hedgehog, 1 Falco. I just don't like these cards because you have to set them, and I would rather just summon this card. Like, I don't even, if I open up Call of the Haunted or Oasis in this, I'm fine, because all I do is I just summon this, add this, the next turn, I just flip a Call of the Haunted, get back Scepter, and then I already added 1 of these, so I special summon that one, then I go for another one. And that's really where I love Jar of Avarice. It makes the deck so much faster, because I want to go as fast as possible. That's why I love the Shells. But, you can run into those things where it's like all Val, but, obviously you play around that. This nasty card over here. And then we got 3 Maxi, 3 Valor, 1 Allure of Darkness, which I almost want to cut because everything in this deck is pretty good, but because I want to make the deck super, super fast, and sometimes if you're playing against a certain deck that has no back row, like Necros generally doesn't have any back row, I don't really mind just getting rid of a Dragon. Or just even Dark Arm when you happen to, not have the amount of darks, or if you just have a bad hand. I guess it's okay. This card can probably be cut. We can mess around with that. 3 Shaddoll Fusion, 3 El Shaddoll Fusion. Some people playing 2 of this. I personally still like 3 of this. I would drop this before that. Even though I know this card has a lot more utility, Shaddoll Fusion is just so simple, and it gives you a lot of free advantage. But that's my take on it. Sinister Shadow Games, I honestly consider dropping this card, or running Mathematician, but I don't like Mathematician because it uses your normal, and you need your normal for these, but some people still try to fit in Mathematician, some people just don't like the Oasis. Like I said, I'm just trying to make a turbo version of the deck, just to show you guys how good it was, and it ended up doing pretty well, but that field right there that I made earlier on the replay, that was probably the most impressive one I've seen in a while, because we basically we looped the Star Seraphs twice that turn, so I mean, it's just summon this, you basically summon 2 of these. And that's such an amazing ability because not only are you able to go through that play, I drew 4 cards, popped 2 cards, and made 2 XYZs that required 3 material. That's pretty crazy. That's a huge advantage. At that point, you win the game. And that's kind of what I designed the deck to do. But I know it can have consistency problems. I mean, if you open up too many of the Oases and calls, yeah, I understand. It can be bad. But anyways, where were we at? I think we were at Shadow Games. We were talking about how I was thinking about cutting this. I really was thinking about cutting it. I do like it against the clean matchup because you can just send dragons so you can pop scout. But Jar of Avarice, fantastic card. I love this card at 2. Originally I was playing 3. Sometimes at 3 it was just too much. But it's because it had problems, whereas this card, all I need is 1 monster, and sometimes I can still make stuff. Like I said, you definitely want to fix the extra deck on this. I just kind of fit everything in here because I wanted to see what I would actually make the most often. I don't bring out these cards too often. Most of the time, it's Ouroboros and the Cyber Infinity, but that card is, like I said, it's not available in the TCG. Not yet. We will get it soon, though. But I think for the main part, I would say for sure El Shadal, Shakunaga, and then 2 Construct for sure. Window can probably drop down to 1, honestly. I mean, yeah, I think you could play it with 1. I think 2 Construct is at least 2, sometimes 3, depending on what you want to do. But this is just too good not to play. Like I said, you can definitely fix up the extra deck in here. If you're not going to be playing this, then obviously you have tons more room. You can play Black Rose, Moonlight Rose Dragon, there's Arcanite Magician, there's tons and tons of great cards. One card that I really like randomly, though, is, I don't know why, this card saves me so often. Like, I don't know why, Mistform, it puts in work. I love Mistform for that. And I also really like Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. I like this card a lot as well. You don't really make it too often. I think the most common card you'll actually make is Arcanite Magician. This is probably the most common card that I end up making in this deck, as far as Synchros go. Black Rose is definitely good, but a lot of times Arcanite can basically do the same thing, and then you have something with 1800 defense on board. Plus, it's a light, which I actually kind of like having, because it's just like a card for BLS, because sometimes some of these cards you actually want in the grave, because you actually want to Jar of Avarice them. So this is like a really good card that, like, I don't really generally need to make double Arcanite, but yeah, make your deck, or make the deck that you want to play. Like I said, we can definitely edit this, but a lot of you guys asked for some Star Seraph Shadals, so I played it today on the live stream, and like I said, that was a really explosive play, and it is pretty good. But like I said, you might run into some consistency problems, just as a heads up. That is also why I play Duality, because my goal in here is honestly to open up Scepter in one of these. If Scepter open up one of these is huge advantage. Scepter, one of these, and a Hand Trap is just like, you're at a huge advantage right there. And I do like it for that. But anyways, let me know, guys, do you think that we can make this deck better? I definitely think we can. I mean, like I said, the extra deck definitely, like, I don't think we need a window, 2 windows for sure. And if you're not playing some of the other cards. Like, Violent Sigma is kind of questionable. Because they have to technically have a monster, and I feel like Ouroboros can basically do justice. So I feel like Ouroboros probably is the card that you want to keep. There is also another Tellarknight card. But personally for me, usually when I wanted to make the Delteros, I personally just kind of like Ouroboros better, because, not just because it's the extra attack, it's just that, like, there's a lot more utility that this card has. Like, sometimes you really need to banish a card to your opponent's graveyard. The bounce effect is obviously really good. But yeah, being able to make them go randomly -1, because maybe your Scepter is going to be popping the only monster on the field anyways when you're making this in the first place. And that's why Bound to Sigma kind of loses out there, because you're getting rid of the monster anyways. And also with this, you can banish the card, so, and you can bounce back. I just love this card a lot. It's probably the most common card that I make after this card, because this card is just, it's just way too good. It's probably the best choice as of right now. Yeah, we don't have it, so if you're playing it in real life, then yeah, Ouroboros, probably the card that I make more often. This card's not bad, don't get me wrong, but I just personally prefer this, because more utility is definitely nice. But yeah, let me know, guys, what you think of the deck. Let me know what you would want to change of it. I actually was thinking about adding 3 Duality. I know it's crazy in Shadals, but like I said, if you open up Scepter and this, you usually win games real easy. Like, you can draw double Avarice, it doesn't matter, because you're going to go through so many cards. You draw 2 cards, you destroy 1, you make a really good card that gives you free advantage. And then on top of that, if you can, go for a call and just reset plays, it's nasty. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night/day. Asian Eyes signing out.